Now here we can say Friday.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because we're gonna
Friday before.
We'll air this at like 4:30
today.
Okay. So it'll go good, and then we're very fortunate with our time slot. We hit a lot of listeners, so yeah,
great.
should be a lot of fun.
Oh, great.
All right, I'm gonna count it down. 5, 4. We're gonna go 13 minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back from the break. Obviously, the boys are live at ABQ Acts today, but I had to sit down early, right? We had to push Van to the side, and I had to sit down with one of the icons of my wrestling fandom, one of the icons of the sport itself, which is pro wrestling. That's Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Welcome, Jimmy, to the show.
Oh, Fred, thank you, man. First of all, I must not be too big of a fan because you got a world famous Bobby Heenan T-shirt on, but that's okay. I'll send you one when I get back to Tampa. But what a great time it is being here. You know what I'm here for? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Duke City Comic-Con is in town. And, of course, it's going to be at the Albuquerque Convention Center. We're going to be here tomorrow, which is Friday, from 4 to 8, Saturday 10 to 6, and Sunday 11 to 5. It's going to be unbelievable. We'll talk about it later. But how you doing, baby?
I never have ever complained in my life, and how fortunate I am to be right here right now. What I must have done right in a previous life, right? Because we're sitting across from each other, Jimmy. You're talking about Comic-Con, all the hours of Comic-Con. Are you going to be at every one? You're going to be there for every hour of every day?
I'm going to be for all of them. We're going to be taking pictures, telling stories, wrestling stories. So please come by and see me. It's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, and obviously you flew in today. Obviously, it starts tomorrow. But you're bringing stories not just from the WWE, but you're bringing stories from
the road,
all of it,
everywhere.
Right? And anything off limits? Everyone you interact with?
Anybody wants to come by, tell me who your favorite wrestler, your not so favorite, one of your favorite stories, and we're there for you guys. It's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be really good. Obviously, outside the world of pro wrestling, a lot of walks as far as entertainment. There's movies and TV and voices of things, and there's a world of entertainment. I don't necessarily know all the references, but you and I were talking before the broadcast. The Warriors.
Oh, I love that show back in the day. The Warriors. Can you believe it?
Come out and play.
Can you believe over 256 vendor tables?
No, that's wild.
So a little something for everybody. So that's going to be great. But
that's more Crayolas than come in the box.
It's going to, yeah, really. It's going to be great. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be going. The Comic-Con's been going on for a long time here traditionally. And I know there's a rebranding this year, Duke City Comic-Con, which I love because Jimmy, I own Duke City Championship Wrestling. We talk about that regularly on the program.
You've got a great company. I love it.
Thank you. That's kind. Yeah, we're so very fortunate. In an infantile state, we still are, but the impacts we've made in our homegrown hero, which is Hobo Hank, we're able to hit a lot of young adults the way that your product hit me when I was a young adult.
Well, you know what it is? The indie shows now are the future of professional wrestling because you never know who's going to see somebody in one of these indie shows and go, he's the next big thing. And all of a sudden you're going, woo.
Yeah. Well, what's so interesting too, it's not necessarily like trading VHS tapes anymore,
Right.
The product we're able to create, and we work alongside ProView Networks, but they put out a very high quality, very good product that we can give all over the world, which is wild to me, how easily people can see my performers and then hear me try to keep up with them on commentary.
Well, it's the social media is so strong now. Back in our era, we didn't have all that. But it's just, we've had a great run. Started out in music years ago in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Had a million set a record called Keep On Dancing with the Gentrys. We toured with the Beach Boys and all the groups back then and wound up doing American Bandstand and Hullabaloo and Shindig.
Isn't that crazy?
And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, I'm managing Jerry the King Lawler in Memphis, Tennessee. And then 6 years later, the magic phone call from the WWF. And that was it.
Yeah. Well, and is only because WWF, that's the reason you're not hosting the Tonight Show, right? Because like like that kind of talent, that kind of capability. And I try to regularly talk about wrestling personalities and how you mentioned I'm wearing a Bobby the Brain Heenan shirt right now.
I love it.
So many of the talent that have come through, how fortunate wrestling was to have you guys fall in love with it. Because any profession would have loved to have the talent and interest that you guys brought.
Well, it's great to be good in the ring, but it's also great to have a good personality.
Yeah.
Look at Dusty Rhodes. He could talk them into the buildings.
Right.
Hulk Hogan. Hulk will tell you, I was never the best wrestler. He said, I thought it was about who was the best, who made the most money. And I said, yeah, but Hulk, that doesn't work in movies because Tom Cruise always has the movie of the year, but makes more money than anything and never wins any kind of award.
Never not
What's
one.
that all about? That's crazy, isn't it?
No, I agree completely with that because it's when we do talk about wrestling on the program, because we're a sports talk radio show, right? We go to the Super Bowl every year. We love sports, but every time we open up the conversation about pro wrestling, you know what else opens up? The phone lines. You know what else opens up? The texter, because the people want to tell their stories. They want to talk about their connection.
It's great. And like I was coming through the Atlanta airport today, and all of a sudden somebody goes, Jimmy, good to see you again. It was Charles Barkley.
Oh, love it.
Because he did wrestling with us years ago, but every time I see him, whether it's in California, whatever, he's such a great guy. And I said, man, you're losing weight. He goes, I'm trying to. I'm on this new diet. I went, well, keep it up. You're looking great.
Jimmy Hart joining us on the program. We're talking about Duke City Comic Con coming to town this weekend, starting at 4 o'clock tomorrow on Friday. Going to run all weekend long and get your ticket and your access at DukeCityComicCon.com. Jimmy.
Hey, Micah, don't we have some tickets to give away here?
Are we giving away tickets? We are not giving away tickets.
We got to get you
Take
some.
it back.
We're going to get you some.
It's in the works.
Compliments of me. We're going to get you some. We'll go over to the hotel today and get you some. We sure will.
2 personal ones. Your panel on Sunday is hosted by my business partner, Chris Burnett, who also owns Duke City Championship Wrestling. So we're super excited to have you out there.
And you told me something I didn't know. I'm on a panel Sunday. Great. I didn't know it. I love those. I look forward to it. So that's great. You should be hosting it.
I'll be in attendance. I'll be the loudest clapper in the building.
Well, you got to come up there and host it with us. Of course, we got to have you up there.
That's so very kind of you. You were talking a little bit about Charles Barkley, and obviously I immediately went to Karl Malone. I immediately went to Dennis Rodman. Talk about crossover between quote unquote mainstream sports and the theater that is pro wrestling, and how it just benefits like all the parties involved.
Well, look at our first WrestleMania.
Oh yeah,
I go in the first WrestleMania, which I was on, and there's Dick Clark, Cyndi Lauper,
so big,
Billy Martin, Muhammad Ali. I mean, it was just such a crazy time back then, you know. And Liberace was there, so it was just so unbelievable. And then we've had so many stars on there through the years.
How fortunate it has been, and Dick Clark can talk about American Bandstand, right?
Man.
You were talking about the connection to Memphis. Do you feel like there is a city specific to this country where you know that not just like the blood of pro wrestling comes from, but maybe the pulse that gets that blood flowing? Is it Memphis? Is it my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri? Is it where?
I think it was a little bit of all of them. I think Memphis had Memphis Championship Wrestling. Of course, look at St. Louis, and the Kill Auditorium was so big back then.
Incredible.
With Hazak and
wrestling at the Chase all those years.
Wrestling at the Chase, and then you go down to Charlotte, you know, where you got the Crockett's, and then down into Florida with American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and Florida up there, our part of Florida and Tampa with the Grahams back in the day.
Yep.
Texas, you know, the Von Erichs, Amarillo, way up there with the Terry and Dory Funk, and that's not really New York with Bruno San Martino and WWE back then, whatever it was called back then. But you know, it all came together when Vince put together WrestleMania. Thank God he did, because I don't think there'd be any wrestling anymore, because the small studios wouldn't be letting you have it anymore.
We're obviously again mentioning we're sitting down with Jimmy Hart. You're here on behalf of Duke City Comic Con this weekend. Starts tomorrow at 4 o'clock on Friday. Goes through the weekend. They got stars of TV. They got stars of film. Casper Van Dien will be there, who I know from Starship Troopers specifically. We can run the entire list. Bunch of Power Rangers. You mentioned, I think, that we're going to have some guys from The Walking Dead. So this is going to be kind of a really fun weekend.
Blood in, blood out.
Oh, let's go. 30-year Annie. 30-year Annie.
Twilight.
Okay.
And of course, I'll be there signing autographs, taking pictures, and telling us some of your favorite wrestling stories. It's going to be great. That'll be at the Albuquerque Convention Center. And like you said, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, I want to say bell time, but the door is open at 4 to 8. Saturday from 10 to 6, and Sunday 11 to 5.
You were talking a little bit about local promotions. You were talking about the indie scene, which I don't know if the terminology is interchangeable or different. But we're going to start up right here, Jimmy. What is? Give me the insight. Give me your millions of years of experience in this thing. What is like the number one like fail that you've seen in an indie promotion? What is the thing I need to watch out for?
You know, I think the thing too is a lot of them have a lot of great talent. I'm sure you do too.
Sure, we're fortunate,
but everybody cannot get on the mic.
Yep.
Sometimes you put people on the mic in between each match, and the interviews go 15 minutes, the matches go 5.
Too much.
And the people are sitting there on a Saturday night looking at their watch going, I got to go to church tomorrow, you know? And so I think that's the main thing. You got to learn how to talk, but sometimes there's got to be somebody direct them, say, okay, look, this is the time limit you're going to have.
Yep.
This is what I want you to talk about in your own words. Be yourself. And I think that's all it really takes. But when the people walk through the door, the first thing they see is the ring.
Yep.
If the ring looks good and you got a good announcer, great referees, good bell keeper, somebody on the music that doesn't wait 10 or 15 seconds between the songs before it starts, then you got a home run.
I love everything about that. Talk a little bit to me, because obviously we're here in Albuquerque, and Albuquerque is what? It's a melting pot, right? Like everyone here is a beautiful shade of brown. There's a culture from all over the world. Talk about kind of the advancement of pro wrestling in the world of diversity. If it's people from worldwide, or if it's the women's division throughout different organizations. Talk to me about the growth from where you've seen it start to where it currently is.
Well, I know with the WWE, that's what I can really speak about.
Yeah.
I mean, they're using more ladies now. You know, they're more the divas. I guess it's not divas anymore. It's superstars.
Right.
So the lady superstars, a lot of them come out of NXT, you know, which Shawn Michaels does a great job down there. But a lot of the talent comes from there. They're using some like more Japanese ladies,
Yeah.
And so it's just something for everybody. The Spanish Latino world order. So it's just something for everybody. That's one thing about the WWE. Production is phenomenal. I mean, the
Through the
production
best
for
guys in the
WWE,
world.
oh my God,
Yeah.
please! I mean, it's so unbelievable. But that's what makes it all exciting.
Little inside baseball. We're going to go. Chuck Kingsbury over at WWE, who I work with all the time with the WrestleManias we're so fortunate to go to. It's he'll show us a little behind the scenes, and the number of guys that are invested in creating like minute details perfect, unreal. Just a level of perfection that I don't necessarily know if I've seen in other professions I've been associated with.
Well, there's so many people for everything. They'll have 15 people setting the ring up.
Yeah.
They'll have on the sound system 4 or 5 guys on the sound system. They'll have 8 or 9 agents. It's really a multi-billion-dollar operation, and it's been around so long, and it seems like every year it just gets bigger and better than ever.
The one I went to at SoFi, I was afraid to blink.
I was out there for that.
Yeah, I saw you there.
I was doing promotion and everything for it. It was great, unbelievable.
We've crossed paths a couple times at WrestleManias, but it's always one of those ships in the night kind of thing.
But you look familiar. When I told him when I first came out, I said, "Damn, he looks familiar."
Yeah, and for certain, we've been through a couple things together, and and that's kind of the interesting part about sports talk radio, where you're able to find product that people are passionate about, and how fortunate I am to get a little bit of exposure to it and talk about it. Speaking of talking to Jimmy Hart, who's joining us on behalf of Duke City that's mine. on behalf of
y'all just merged. Yeah, I didn't know it.
On behalf of Duke City Comic-Con, who is this weekend. It is Friday through Sunday. Come and hang out with he all weekend long. Also see the cast of some of your favorite childhood movies, including Annie, the cast of Power Rangers. I could go on and on. I'm most excited about the guys from the Warriors and the Back to the Future cast. How incredible. Featuring Donald Philolove and Harry Waters Jr. Jimmy, we're close to wrapping, but I got some here from the live chat, so I'm going to give it to you.
Okay, great.
Jimmy, when did you know Brett was ready to handle promos himself? That's from friend of the show, Joel.
When we first got together, there was something special about him. Neidhart was tremendous. But if you look back at all the tag teams, there's always one member that stands out. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, both of them were great, but Shawn stood out.
Yeah.
The people picked him to carry the torch down the road. The Road Warriors, it was Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
The Rougeau brothers, it was Jacques. The Nasty Boys, it was Knobs. It was just always something special about the individual members of a tag team that stood out. And there was something about Brett where the girls loved Brett.
Yeah.
And he was very good in the ring, so the guys liked him too. And so it was just great. It was great being with those guys for the long time we were together.
What I really liked about the Hart Foundation proper is obviously Brett, as you mentioned, was a little bit of a heartthrob and every lady's favorite wrestler. Yeah. But Owen Hart was every 13-year-old kid's favorite wrestler.
Oh, they loved him. They loved him.
It was just incredible to me how you can find so much diversity from one family. Like they're all raised the same. They all learned the game the same way, but they present so insanely differently.
Well, it was crazy when we checked in a hotel together. Hello, Jimmy Hart. Okay. I'm Bret Hart. Okay. I'm Owen Hart. I'm Jim Neidhart. What? Is this a real? No, it's all true.
Also from the Sports Animal Live chat, thank you for joining us on a pre-record. Fred is also 7'3", so he's hard to miss. Okay, that's not fair. That's not a thing. We're gonna take a photo before you go. Thank you for that. We're gonna
get you some tickets to give away too. Okay,
we'll make our effort, and if I have them physically in hand by the time this is over, you can find me at Albuquerque Axe today. So ABQ Axe. Find me at the intersection of Osuna and San Mateo, where we are throwing axes all day long. Come hang out with your boys. That's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll make sure Michael will go back and get some tickets to make sure we get them to him.
He's texting frantically now. We're going to figure it out.
Beautiful. We'll make sure we run them over to you. But once again, Duke City Comic-Con, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, doors open. I wanted to say bell time again.
Right.
4 to 8. Saturday's 10 to 6. And Sunday is 11 to 5. It's at the Albuquerque. I feel like an elephant sitting on my tongue.
It's okay. It's a brand new word.
Convention Center. So come on down and see everybody. 246 vendor tables.
Love everything about that. And obviously for all the friends of the show that are currently listening, same place it is every year. I mean, if the guys who went last year, they're going to go this year. Get down early though. Like I know this is like overly hyped, but that's when the vendors have their best stuff. That's whenever like the sooner you get there,
the deals.
It's not even close. Not even close. Jimmy Hart, thank you so much, brother.
Fred, we love you, baby.
Oh, how very kind. Whenever we get back from the break, more live from ABQ Axe is Van will gush in just how fortunate I was to be sitting down with Jimmy Hart. Good job, everyone. GG.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Well, what I'm going to do